10 million national revenue, a billion GDP, mechanized units, aircraft carriers, battleships, all a part of our Japanese empire, complete Victoria 3 run up until 1936. Stick around to find out how you can turn your Japan into the ultimate economic behemoth. Now, to give a bit of an overview of the situation for Japan in 1880, we don't really have that much of a great construction sector situation. I'll be honest, we're a little bit behind with construction sectors. We only have right now 216 sectors, which is even less than half of what we should have by 1880. But we're going to work on that today, and we're going to show you how we can catch up with our economy. GDP-wise, we are fourth in the world, right above the French and below the Russians, but we're going to be overtaking the Russians very soon because they have a pretty massive war with Qing that I noticed they're actually losing. So let's see what the outcome of that war is going to be, because we might take advantage of it to ourselves. Let's say we do have a sizable amount of gold mines. We also have not only the gold mines in Hokkaido, but we got the gold mines in South Africa. We did a few cheeky invasions in the south here. It did cost us a lot of infamy, which is why we're chilling. We're not doing anything right now. We also have a little bit of a colony in Yemen, and that's pretty much it when it comes to our overseas expansion for the time being. I'm gonna plan to expand into the Asian bits in this particular part of the campaign, but we'll talk about that more in a few moments. Population wise, we have seen a steady growth population. We're up to 46 million, primarily Japanese. Army wise, we don't have that many units. We can switch to skirmishers. I'm actually just waiting to finish my ammunition factories before I switch over to skirmishers, and we need a lot of artillery pieces. We don't have any artillery right now. We do have some artillery foundries, which is why we're going to be recruiting some artillery. Ideally, we want to have 50-50, basically 50% infantry, 50% artillery, no cavalry. That would be the meta right now in the current patch and in previous patches as well, for that matter. Legislation, we have laissez-faire, proportional taxation, homesteading. We could switch to commercialized agriculture. I'm not going to do that yet, though. I would like to go for colonial exploitation beforehand, because right now we got frontier colonization, which doesn't really help us much because we colonize all that we could colonize with this particular legislation, which is Sakhalin and Hokkaido. Speaking of legislation, we are very behind with institutions, not necessarily legislation, but we're going to catch up. We want to go up to level 5 education as well as level 4 health insurance, and then once these two are done, we can also increase home affairs, law enforcement, and everything else around here. We're also going to be staying on appointed bureaucrats because we need the extra taxation capacity. Taxation capacity being one of our biggest pains. We are still getting 42,000 in unrealized taxes, so we're losing quite a bit of money because of it. But we are in the process of building quite a few new government administration buildings, and it's actually worth getting these now. We're going to add these up in the QC, which one of our states still has massive issues with taxation, and these are primarily all the major states in the island of Honshu. It's so juicy watching all of these gold mines getting built up in Fristadt right now. It quite literally is free money, you know, gold mines. All right, let's go ahead and do a few more construction sectors. Let's max out the ones we have in Kanto, as well as get a few more around Chubu and Kansai as well. I like the round number, so we're going to go for 10 and 15, albeit 15 technically is not round, I am aware. And since we've expanded our construction sectors, we have a lot of shortages for tools, wood, and coal. Coal is not an issue because we can just change our production method to use dynamite, and we should be a little bit better afterwards, but we do need to get those tooling workshops done ASAP. So let's say bring 3 of them at the top of the queue before the gold mines get finished. We're at 183 innovation. Our cap is at 84, so we can get one more university actually now to reach our cap. Remember, this is without any advanced research bonuses, because we don't have, our power block doesn't really have any mandate. We're getting one mandate every 38 years, so it's basically like non-existent really. That's why I didn't talk about it earlier. In order for our mandate to grow up, we need to get other nations added to the power block. So we can do that diplomatically, of course, but the easier way is to just force nations to join. Once our infamy is a little bit lower, say around 2025, we're going to actually start adding nations to the power block. That should make things a little bit easier for us. I am going to finish off philosophical pragmatism, since it does give me more maneuvers per diplomatic place. So when I do attack, it's going to be easier to get more lands or more puppets or more demands, as well as bureaucracy reduction for population cost multiplier is huge, because we do have a pretty significant population, meaning it's going to cost us less bureaucracy for that population, so we can use it more for our institutions. That being said, we also need the open heart process, pumping jack, bottlenecks, shift work, and just about everything else in the production tab, really. We're also able to survey a skyscraper. The first tall building in Japan is about to be surveyed, I guess. Now, to make up for that, we will bring at the top of the queue a few admin buildings after we finish what we have right now queued up. And our trade is lacking convoys. This is a big issue because we do have quite a lot of trade going on. Because remember, if we don't have convoys, it's also going to affect our overseas colonies not getting the market access, which is the big issue here. What the hell is going on? Portuguese radical revolt. Oh my dear. Oh god, I just saw what the British did to the Persians. This is the most disgusting border war I've seen in a really long time. We're also going to be taking advantage of India having been split in between independent areas. So I'm going to start eyeing up which of these areas are going to be easier for me to take over. Of course, we want to get the ones that will help us towards getting more mandate and not the other one. Like this one, for example, here. The unrecognized regional power will get us a mandate generation. So it would be worth actually puppeting them. Skyscraper site has been identified without any surprise. It is Kanto, our capital, and that means we got construction throughput of plus 10% in this state, which is actually pretty juicy. This is a permanent modifier, so construction sectors here are going to be way better than in other areas, which means that from now, when we need to get construction sectors, we're going to do it in Kanto. And more importantly, we're going to start with the switch to steel frame building in Kanto itself. We just need to make sure we have enough glass, explosives, tools, and steel to do the change, because look at that. We're going to need just from this one province to change to steel an extra 1,000 steel and 800 glass. That is a lot of steel and glass, my guys. This is just classic right here, guys. We failed on consideration phase. We literally had like 60% at one point, and we just got so many horrible ticks, eventually just failed. That is the most Victoria 3 moment out of this entire, not even the entire campaign. It's happened a lot, unfortunately. It looks like we secured our very first vassal. Marina back down. We were actually even improving relations with them from before, because I was planning to make them my vassal from a while back. Now, the good part about that is that we can actually start building some buildings within Marina eventually, and despite them not being right now an unrecognized regional power, they will rise to that rank after we've built our buildings in here. South America, on the other hand, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because right now the US is protecting most of South America, so I gotta wait for a moment when the US would not be getting involved here, I guess. So now, whilst I'm trying to like gobble up the little unimportant and basically undefended nations in Indonesia, what the British are doing, they're just going full bat schnitzel crazy, and they're attacking, and look at this. They're planning to take most of Ethiopia in one war against the Ottomans. I don't know, man. That's pretty aggressive if you ask me. Considering they lost the crown jewel of their empire, India, I'm not as scared as them as I probably should be. Hey, that's some good news. We got Sakhalin oil discovered. And speaking of, guys, I know some of you asking how come I was able to colonize Sakhalin from day one, or Karafuto from day one, whilst you're not able to do so. Let's actually incorporate it. First off, this state doesn't really make much of a difference. Look at that. I haven't even built a single thing in this state since I started the campaign. It is as I colonized it, basically, because it's really not a great state until much later in the campaign. So what they did is, I was recording this video, the first part of it, prior to releasing the DLC and the update, right? Because I got early access. And when they released the update and the DLC, they made a change for the release patch where they took away the claim of Japan, and you get the claim after you restore the emperor. So you have to wait before you colonize Sakhalin. Personally, I think it's unhistorical, because the reality is both the Japanese and the Russians at the same time pretty much started the colonization of Sakhalin, and then the Russians intensified that colonization where they brought prisoners to essentially colonize very much so unwanted lands. And then after the Meiji Restoration, the Japanese reacted to the prisoners the Russians were bringing with their own Japanese colonists, and eventually this led to one of the reasons why it led to the Russo-Japanese War, which the Japanese won, and they got complete control of Sakhalin as consequence after. But yeah, it wouldn't be fair to keep the Russian claim and take away the Japanese claim, because the colonization of Sakhalin would not have been feasible in 1836 by either Russia or Japan. It was something that after 1855, both nations started actually properly engaging in. Rejoice, Maguindanao, you're free. You're actually free now, and I'm really eyeing up the Philippines, and I feel like the Spaniards might not be that difficult to take on. I'm just kind of worried that they might have some help. They are allied right now to Aceh, and they have a defensive pact with Austria and Belgium. Question is, does would that defensive pact extend to their subjects? I think I might have found a little bit of a loophole here. By puppeting Uruguay, I get my foothold in South America. Historical Japanese invasion of Uruguay. Visualized, guys. Actually visualized. And there you go, guys. We built 20 logging camps in Medina Kingdom, which turned them into an unrecognized regional power. And as such, we're getting a little bit more mandate. We're going to do the same to Maguinda now. Now we're going to max out whatever we can build in here that also helps out our market. So, of course, we're going to do logging camps and probably iron mines too. The better part about this is not only does it make them a better power and it gives us the mandate, but it also increases their economic dependence on us, making it easier to lower their liberty desire. I love how Siak has like 1,000 different... Oh, they gave up. I was going to say they have like 1,000 different defensive alliance pact with Bulungun and everybody else around here, and nobody actually comes to their help because they're all scared shitless of me. That's good because I'm going to eventually own all of the Indonesian parts, obviously. It is rightful Japanese clay. Everybody knows this. Come on. We started to rapidly industrialize now. We're also about to finally pass oligarchy, hopefully, and we are gaining recognition too because we have one from average standard of living, one from literacy. GDP per capita is still not in top 50, but at least we are getting some recognition, so it's better than nothing. I'd say the system, the way it works now, it is a little bit brutal because unless you're really playing super tall like I'm playing with Japan right now, it's kind of impossible to get recognition until very late in the campaign. We've also now gotten as subject all the previously independent and unclaimed nations within Indonesia. So next we're gonna have to do some wars against the big boys in order to continue our expansion in here. Oh, this is perfect. I was kind of hoping that the Portuguese would side with Congo because that way I would bypass the defensive alliances that the Portuguese have, and I would have an easier time just grabbing the Portuguese lands that I actually want. I didn't even care about Congo, to be honest with you. I just saw my opportunity here and I was like, let's grab some Portuguese land, shall we, boys? So the thing is, I'm still not a recognized nation, so I take 50% more infamy if I was to take anything from the Portuguese, which is why I'm only transferring their subjects in Indonesia, and that's it. I'm a little bit disappointed with that, but it is what it is. And we've officially become an oligarchy too, which means we have the actual modern day Japanese flag. Well, isn't that interesting there, boyos? What is that supposed to tell us? Okay, that is one out of the war. Now let's focus 100% on the Portuguese. Invade Kutai, which we're going to be taking from them in this war. Oh wow, the Portuguese actually have a surprisingly high amount of defense. I was expecting them to be a little bit easier to crack. I mean, still, we got way more units, so we're gonna still crack them, but I was expecting it to be a lot easier though. That being said, look at that, their manpower is done. They literally have no more manpower to fight against us, bro. Oh wait, no, they brought their units from the colonies. Okay, let's see. And now, guys, we're full on getting 2 monthly recognition progress. We're also doing way better with the economy. We went down to very low taxes, and we're actually able to keep it on very low taxes because our population has had a massive... Oh my god, are you serious? I failed again on consideration phase this thing? Really? Oh, it's not yet failed, it's set back. Anyway, because our population has a lot more money now to spend, the increase in demand for furniture and basically standard of living sort of people required goods has increased massively. So we're going to double down on our construction sectors, and we're going to start making sure that our population has all the input goods they need, which is going to make our economy even skyrocket more. Ooh, we have a mandate, everyone. Yay! Rejoice! Our first mandate. Oh my god, it took a while. Let's go for advanced research. 10 years to get the second one, but we're going to make that a lot faster. We're in the process now of lowering autonomy and building up a little bit more in our vassals in Indonesia. Look at our economy snowball, boys. Look at it freaking go up. This is what I'm talking about. We're also #1 on GDP now, finally overtaking the British. We're also taking advantage of a brand new feature with this patch, and we're going to be getting back the claims for Uruguay. Look at that. Return all of their claims from Argentina, so that way they become a minor power themselves, which in turn means we get the extra 1 mandate. And we're also going to be making a tributary out of Chile, because apparently for now nobody is interested in helping out Chile. I basically was waiting for the right moment when the Americans decided not to give a schnapps about this area. Now I have to say, the British are really close behind us, man. It is insane. 147, 146 million GDP here. And not only that, but the population too. They're almost catching up to us. We got 60 mil, and these are mostly Japanese though. But we're doing something good with our pops, that's for sure. I'm also quite surprised to see that I'm basically toe to toe with the British. Like, they're really catching up to me, not only GDP wise, but population wise as well. Look at that. They're up to 56 million pop, mostly in the British Isles from what I can tell at least. They have obviously some colonies, but their own population in England has massively grown. 8 million pops in the home countries, for example. There we go. Much better Uruguay, isn't it, boys? And what is this? We have a little bit of a Uruguayan slavery revolt in like a fraction of a province here. Okay. Hey, look at that, boys. They're now loyal because we gave them back their claims. That's so nice of them, man. Good guy, Uruguay. Now, we have started breaking away from the British, though. But that being said, look at Africa, guys. Most of Africa belongs to them. So I'm gonna have to either A, get good relations with the British to get my rubber, or attack them and take their colonies. One of the two, really. Oh my god. 15.7 standard of living. We're the 4th best standard of living nation in the world. The greatest out of the great powers, so to say. Followed by, I would say, Belgium is right afterwards from the great powers, if we can call them that anyway. Oh, and look at that, guys. Now it's 3 monthly that we're getting, and it still seemed like an eternity until we get recognition. It's crazy to me. Although, if we are to take it historically, it's kind of accurate because the Japanese were seen as a bigger power on the same level as the Europeans around the early 1900s. More precisely after they kicked the Russians' butt. So, yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense from a scaling perspective. But if I really wanted to cheese shit, I literally could get the restoration of the Emperor in 3 years, maybe even 2 years, depending on RNG. I got a brand new tactic I was actually thinking of trying out in the new patch that I think is super broken. So we're gonna finish this run today, and then later, maybe the next patch I'll attempt it. Let's see. I'm curious if you guys want to see it though. It's pretty insane. A great day for all Japanese. We have officially become a recognized nation, which means that it's considerably less aggressive expansion to expand. So instead of paying 28 infamy for Siam, it's only 13 infamy to get the Great Siam Protectorate. Also, by prestige, we are the world's 3rd great power. By GDP, we are 1st. By standard of living, we're 2nd after Brunswick, apparently, and 3rd by population. So I'd say we're going up in the world, aren't we? I'm gonna save this up. Most important part about this is that now we don't need to care about loans anymore. So I'm gonna start doubling down on my construction sectors. Wait, we can help Argentina in exchange for transfer of Patagonia. Yeah, I'm 100% okay with that. We're literally getting a free state, boys, and they pretty much colonized most of Patagonia already. Holy mother of God, there's 800,000 pops and 92% turmoil. What? Alright, it's on, boys. It's on. The conquest of India is on. Because if I win this, and I will win this, I will essentially be getting about 40% of India as my subjects. Like, all the yellow stuff is going to become my subjects, which is pretty wild. Boys, it's freaking happened. We got the best modifier ever. Our population have become obsessed with fine art. Let me explain to you how powerful this is. This means that our population is really going to be munching up all the freaking fine art imaginable. So our art academies are going to be insanely productive as consequence now. We're going to make ridiculous amounts of money from art academies. This is a bit of a late game event that happens if you're a little bit lucky. Now, to also give a little bit of an idea of what's happening in our particular game, because we still have 26 years to go, but before we get to the end of the campaign, right now we own, if we go to the power block, about half of India is basically our subjects. We also have a little bit of Yemen, a little bit of South Africa, South America. We have definitely got a bigger chunk of the Indonesian bits, but the British still have the majority of this. That's going to be probably the end game boss for us. I am going to prioritize getting Southeast Asia before I actually go into Indonesia, though, because it's a little bit easier. Nobody actually gives a schnitzel about that area. As well as I'll be attacking and I'll be transferring the nation of Joseon to myself. It's only 15 infamy, which is honestly just nothing, because I said I'm going to go for historical Japanese Empire, and we are the Empire of Japan. We're gonna go for its historical borders. We're also right now GDP wise at 284 million GDP and growing. Standard of living is the highest in the world, even higher than the little Schnitzeldorf one province miners that are cheesing the way the standard of living goes. And population wise, we are 3rd, and this is primarily Japanese pops. We have 68 million Japanese and a little bit of Africans from the South African colonies as well. We do have some some massive shortages, and we're working on that. Our main problem right now is unfortunately oil as well as rubber, which is honestly to be expected. We've also started electrifying our grid. We have 88 power plants, and we're still building a lot of power plants. By switching to electricity, we've managed to free up about 7 million population. All of this 7 million is working in manufacturing rather than transporting stuff left to right, which is mostly what electricity does. It takes away those labor jobs, right? And we still have a lot of them we can switch to. Actually, we haven't even done harvesting tools for that matter. There you go. We can do steam power threshers. That's going to give us a lot more pops as well here. Let's see how many we got from that. We got roughly 1 million from that, actually. Late game, you really need to rely on your better production methods and using electricity to make up for the lack of population, because again, I'm not going to cheese it, and I'm not going to go into capturing all of Qing for the easy pops. I will get Manchuria and Joseon simply because of the historical borders, but that's it. I'm not going into anything else. I could easily, because they still have freaking skirmish units, whilst we have trench, and we're also researching landing craft, which means that we ignore difficult landing penalties, so we can land with massive armies afterward. Legislation wise, we're significantly better than before. We're going for universal suffrage now, and we've got most of the laws that we want to have, including compulsory primary education, but we have issues with multiculturalism. We have a little bit of a movement for multiculturalism, which is why we actually have 22% success chance right now, but pretty much all of our government opposes multiculturalism, so it might be a little bit of a tumultuous thing to do. I'm still going to do it simply because I need to have everybody accepted. Having everybody accepted with migration control means that we're going to get insane amounts of migrants to our country, so we don't need to conquer any lands. We just still keep our Japanese holds, and with these Japanese holds, we get everybody coming to us rather than us having to go and capture them. And I switched over to telephone switchboard all of my production methods, which means we have a huge amount of extra bureaucracy. We can advance to max level with all of our institutions as consequence. Honestly, even social security is not the worst in this patch, since it does offer food security, as well as it lowers the political strength from receiving welfare. Also, by getting the subjects in India, we solved a few of our logging camp issues, because we managed to max out the logging camps in India, which in turn means we don't really have many logs issues now, or wood issues better yet. Similarly, we also have more space for building more coal mines now. Well, we actually maxed it out already, but we will get more Indian colonies and build even more coal mines afterwards. Coal is honestly the backbone of our industry. Right now, we do need more steel and glass though, so let's queue up a few more of those as well. Say another 60, and Kansai and Kanto should be enough for now. Meanwhile, in Europe, some weird stuff is happening. We have Fennoscandia, which is formed when Scandinavia is unified by Finland. However, Finland still exists. It's a one province minor of Russia. So I have no freaking clue how this is even possible. Like, genuinely no idea. I don't even see Finnish as an accepted culture. Maybe it's here and I just don't see it. I don't know. It's just weird to me that Fennoscandia exists instead of Scandinavia. Like, it just makes no sense. And they got colonies as well. They got colonies in Congo and Namibia, I think this is. Which, the way that I see it, it's very easy lands for me to take, because, you know, they got no actual proper allies. They only have Saxe-Coburg-Gotha and Saxe-Weimar. Like, also, how is Germany not unified yet? How is Prussia still just starting Prussia with the addition of Saxony? What is going on here, man? Someone explain this to me. Hey, we got universal suffrage. Let's go, baby. All right, that means we also did Path to Liberalism. Ooh, Arts Academy throughput. Let's go for that. The cultural and technological capital of the world. No schnaps, bro. We got 248 max innovation, which is wild. Remember, kids, 98.7 literacy. We are so literate. Look at this. Look at the map. Like, it's us, US, Central Europe, and Scandinavia. And on the opposite front, we have Russia and Qing. People in Qing don't even know what a book is. It's that bad. We're gonna have to free them, of course, at least parts of them. So I was trying to be a nice guy and liberate Hayil from Shamar Jabab, and Autumn has decided to join in. So I'm just gonna liberate the entirety of the freaking Middle East to teach them a lesson. Go, my pretties, go! Crush the Ottoman scumbags. I'm actually curious what type of units they got. They have irregulars, line, and skirmisher mixed. Are you serious, dude? 1912. You still have irregulars, Ottoman. How is that possible? Guess you could say this is a historical Ottoman run right here. No, a little bit of me actually feels bad for them. Like, they genuinely do not stand a chance. Even against the 50 landing force that I sent, they don't stand a chance, let alone against one of my main armies here. Like, it's ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous, the difference in technology. They don't seem to have, they have two cannon artillery. What is going on here, man? I really wish Paradox would make the AI a little bit smarter when it comes comes to the army composition. You know, funny story, this Ottoman Carpeticus Siegicus actually reminds me of a carpet I had when I was a kid back at my grandma's place. It literally was like white with red dots in the middle. Like literally this pattern I'm seeing right now. Is that a coincidence? Freedom and justice for all. The Middle East is free once more, boys. Syria's here, Iraq is here, Egypt's here. Nobody look at the fact that we got all of Arabia. That's aside from the point. Holy shit. I just got vassalization 1, which gives me 25 authority per subject, and I literally got 700 authority. How many subjects do I have? I just realized I got a lot of freaking subjects. Oh my god. I've been going on a little bit of a subject spree, haven't I? Oh, dude, this is, I may have exaggerated with the subjects a little bit. And we also got women's suffrage, which increases our workforce ratio by 15%. Now I'm also able to invite Syria and Iraq to my power block because we are a trade league and everybody wants to join the great trade league and make big bucks out of it, right? They're not subjects, but it's pretty much the same thing since I'm going to be taking advantage of their resources, adding it to my market. And it's time for us to get Joseon. Unfortunately, the French have decided to join on the side of Qing, but we managed to get the Russians for whatever that's worth, right? The French are trying to navally land in Kanto, which they're not going to succeed. We'll be fine, not to worry. Oh, dude. Bugger off, France. Really? You're actually trying to prevent me from navally invading Joseon? Yay, we enforced on the Ottomans. Let's see how close the French are to piecing out. Minus 37 support. They're very close. They got 805,000 casualties. That is crazy the French got involved that much. But yeah, basically right now we're waiting for the French to peace out before we push any more into China because the French units are really good. The Chinese have still irregulars, skirmishers, and line, but the French have trench, and that really is screwing us up. It's drained up. Our primary army has basically no manpower left as consequence, so we need to wait for them to bugger off before we push again. Oh my god, finally France. Holy schnitzel, bro. Now we can actually play again, properly invade and everything. That was crazy how strong the French were. It's a good idea I didn't invade Southeast Asia, which has protection of the French so far. But yeah, after we get China, we might go into Southeast Asia once we get a few more units. I think it's time for me to also increase the amount of units I got. I kind of been invading unrecognized third world Schnitzeldorf, and now fighting an actual great power is a big difference. Here I go again against Qing. Oh my god, we're so close to 100 literacy. That is insane, boys. Literally 0.8%, and we got 100% literacy. That's literally more literate than modern day nations, most nations really. We've given the strategic objective for Beijing, so our units are pushing for Beijing. I noticed with this patch, they actually go for whatever strategic objective you give them a lot more than they used to in previous patches, to be fair. Oh, this is huge, guys. Protected speech means we get 25% technology spread. So if we go to our technology right now, we're literally gaining 200 more technology from technology spread. If we wanted to really double down on this, we could just spam universities, and then the unspent innovation would make it so much more powerful. Also, we should probably cancel the knowledge sharing we have with our vassal. Look at that. Canceling the knowledge sharing increased our technology spread massively, up to a possible of 318 innovation. What the schnapps, man. All right, so now that we got Beijing, their war score is starting to fall, and we got 100 mil. Oh my god, that is cool as snap, dude. 79 million Japanese pops we got basically from birth. Very little of that is from conversion, in my opinion. Most of this is from just flat out birth. That is just beautiful to see, honestly. Let's check. We are still third for population. Russia is still beating us by 20 million. We'll work our way there, not to fear. And the first war against Qing is done. We got Joseon. We got the port in Port Arthur or whatever it was called. I did this because historically that's how the Japanese did it too, right? So then in the next war we grabbed the rest of Manchuria, which is, I believe, 2 provinces. That would look weird though. It doesn't look like actual historical borders, does it? You know what we call when somebody tries to pass multiculturalism with 82% stall chance and 2 setbacks? That's hard copium, guys. That's actually hard copium right there. Also, I just realized, but because we have some Han and Yue people we got from the Chinese province we annexed. What the hell? Okay, hold on a second. I forgot what I was gonna say. I just saw that North and South German is the predominant culture. What? Wait a sec. Hold up a minute. What the hell happened here? How did this happen? South German is primary culture everywhere. Dude, that is crazy. That is actually freaking crazy to me. Okay, I feel like the last patch they did like a couple of days ago, which made it so you can assimilate cultures in their homelands might have been a bit overpowered. But I'm okay with that because honestly, since that patch, the performance has increased so much, like so much. Now I know why, because all the minorities are getting converted to primary culture, which is not wrong. It's okay in my opinion. And yes, in case you're wondering, we have another rebellion in Uruguay. This is like the 20th freaking rebellion. I'm genuinely thinking to just annex this freaking schnitzel. And if it's not freaking Uruguay rebelling, it is Kutai rebelling. Kutai, Bali, again, oh, Bali's also in a rebellion. Kutai, Bali, and Uruguay. The three nations that have been rebelling continuous, in which I'm honestly gonna annex. Like, it's freaking, this is enough. I've had enough with your Schnitzeldorf. I've had enough of it. You boys are gonna be integral parts of my nation. Even though I didn't want to do that, I have to do that now. Now, in the late campaign, guys, oil is the biggest problem. Like, by far the biggest problem. I'm importing as much as I can, and I'm producing a lot of oil too. I'm the world's #1 producer of oil with 8.8 thousand, and it's still not enough. It is crazy how much shortage of oil there is in Victoria 3 for the late campaign. Oh, actually, Kutai has oil. Wait, did I already upgrade the oil in Kutai? I did already upgrade it, but it's got no people there. Oh, come on, really? Yeah, we have to annex Kutai now, definitely. And there you go. We failed multiculturalism. What a freaking shock. I'm not sure how Tidor managed to get its independence, but it's not going to be independent for too long, let's just say. Oh, that's so cool. Maharashtra just formed. Yoink. That's an extra 8 million population we can get our hands on. We also can upgrade all of our units to squad infantry, and the difference is huge. Look at that. 40 offense, 50 defense. Oh my god. Plus, it inputs radios, so we give more of a use for the radios that we have, that we don't really have much of a use except for artillery pieces, right? So now, not only the siege uses radio, but the squad infantry too. And I want to say something about this. Why doesn't it take grain or groceries for units? They eat, right? That would be like a really archaic way of showing supply or logistics in Victoria 3. Like a very simple way. Add an upkeep of grain and groceries to just increase the significance of properly managing your grain supply, basically food supply in the game. Could be even more than that. Meat, a bit of everything maybe. Who's to say, depending on the unit. And they back down. Of course they did. Freaking wussies. What happened to the good old Mamluk Sultanate, able to fight again? Oh wait, that's what happened. The Ottomans took their best provinces. It's not my fault, it's the Ottomans' fault, okay? We gotta push back the Ottomans, take back the lands of my beloved subject here. I feel like the one thing I could have done earlier is I could have gotten rid of colonialism the moment that I saw that pretty much all of Africa already got colonized. I mean, it's really useless for me to have colonialism at this point, right? I'm obviously getting rid of it now, but just saying it could have been done a lot earlier. Our fleet is also pretty old. We still have monitors, torpedo boats, and ironclads, so we're gonna change it. We're gonna delete all of these ships actually. We're gonna have about 100 scout cruisers and 80 carriers with 20 dreadnoughts, or better yet, battleships. I'm actually gonna get battleships in a couple of months, so I can wait before I get the battleships, I guess. Yeah, let's start queuing up at the very least the scout cruisers. Not sure what kind of ships the AI has right now, but I just want to see a proper modern Japanese fleet for myself, you know? Oh god, I disbanded my fleet when I started the war with Burma. I honestly completely forgot I was meant to invade Burma. Guess now we have to wait a little bit. Now let's try again for multiculturalism. I'm not sure it's gonna work, but at least it's a slightly smaller chance of stalling than before. Oh, actually, I'm not getting any penalty from invading because of that one technology we researched a while back. So we're Gucci, boys. We're actually very much so Gucci. Holy shit, I just noticed we have 80 million GDP, 17 million population, and 100% pollution in Tokyo. What? This is reduced by our health, public health though, by 70%, so the effects are reduced. Not as bad, I guess. And we're also going to be invading Formosa, rightful Japanese clay, everybody knows. Come on, let's get these boys. We also landed in Burma. Let's make sure we send the rest of our armies here to make it a little bit easier to finish the capture of Burma. We actually have a lot of allied troops that are helping out. Holy snap. Marwar's got a sizable army, actually. Hot diggity dog. Turkey just formed, guys. Gomble gomble. That's right, I called your nation a turkey. You got a problem with that? We'll take it up with chemical weapons. We got chemical weapons, guys. We're gonna enact chemical weapons for strategic murdering everybody reasons. Wait a second. Why is Shigeto Ito becoming a war crime for using custard mass? That's not fair, okay? We're only doing it to end the war quicker. We're saving lives. That's why we're doing it, guys. Bro. So check it out. 7% success chance, voting phase, 2 setbacks, and we get this tick. So we failed to pass multiculturalism on the last possible tick. I both love and absolutely hate this stupid ass game. 1935, I think, is a good moment for us to finish this campaign. I want to give you guys a bit of an overview of what we have right now and what exactly I think I made mistakes in, because there are some areas in which I definitely could have done way better. And I'll explain why I haven't done way better and what you could do to improve yourself if you watch this video and you want to learn a little bit extra from it. So from the budget screen, we basically have 9 million national revenue right now. We could technically cheese this and get a lot more by adding more consumption taxes. So if we were to go say and do cancel all of these decrees as well as cancel these particular decrees as well, we go back to budget and we can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more taxes, and we end up with 10 million national revenue on very high taxation. That being said, it is obviously not needed. We have way more than enough. Speaking of construction sectors wise, we could have literally had double or more, but honestly I just found it so tedious just continuously adding up more and more construction sectors and more stuff in the queue that I personally did not find it too fun. I just wanted to like actually enjoy the run and not super min-max. But if you really want to min-max, you could literally have 10,000 construction by 1900 as Japan. One thing I did not do, and you should do if you want to min-max, is expand outside of the Japanese islands early on. Getting those oil provinces earlier on, especially around Africa, so getting colonization to colonize Africa, get into Central Africa, grab the Arabian lands earlier, grab more of South America. That is vital for your late campaign. Otherwise, you're going to be starved and deprived of oil. It's one of the reasons why I massively cringe that the British grabbed a huge chunk of Persia. In fact, they grabbed most of the area that the Persians have oil in the south here. Now, that being said, we do have basically 1 billion GDP, and don't make me unpause because I still have a few months, and literally look at this. I'm getting basically 3-4 million every week. Look at that. 991, 995, and so on, right? And that's just in March. The point is, we got 1 billion, and that's gonna go on the thumbnail most likely. I don't want to hear any of you go like, you didn't get 1 billion, you got 995. Shut up, you nerd. I got 1 billion. Population wise, I'm kind of proud to say that aside from the lands we took in Manchuria, which is obviously Chinese, we got roughly around 100 million actual Japanese and a few other Indians that we got migrated into here as well. One thing I'm not super cool with is that we basically stopped getting that many Shintos once we went to total separation. And we have a lot of Sunnis, a lot of animists, Mahayanas, Confucians, and so on from other areas of the empire. So I feel like maybe I should have stayed with freedom of conscience for a little bit longer. Speaking of legislation, this is what it looks like right now for us, the laws. I was kind of thinking of going for a single party state just for the memes, but I also just wanted to have the Empire of Japan as the name of the country itself. Looks a little bit fancier in my opinion. We grabbed a serious chunk of Indonesia, not all of it, because I didn't really push for it as hard as I could have. We only have 36 infamy, so clearly I didn't bother too much with it. Speaking of, we do have a really strong army though. Mechanized infantry, heavy tanks, and look at the difference here. This is 70 offense, 35 defense, 25 kill rate, and the mechanized is 50 with 60. That is, dude, that is actually insane. That being said, it does cost oil again, so, and tanks obviously, so that's a bit of an issue. Fleet wise, we didn't get as many ships as I was thinking to get, because we actually don't need to. In the French and British war, we basically crushed them with just the scout cruisers, because majority of their fleets was still like monitors, ironclads, and the better ones were the torpedo boats of the British. That was pretty much it, which goes to show that the AI is not really the smartest in this game, unfortunately, when it comes down to army composition at least. Now, if you guys enjoyed this run, do consider leaving a like and letting me know what other nation you want me to play for the whole 100 years, 1836 to 1936. Leave a comment below, I'll check it out. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.